counting. 1, 2, 3. We're learning, exploring, and this is fun, you see. We're smart kids. We learn a lot. Smart kids. We play a lot. Smart kids. And this is where we start.
This is the place to be, singing and dancing on TV. Come on, join the kids say cool.
Fun and games for me and you. It is time to learn. This is how we grow. So don't delay. Come on, let's start the show. Yeah!
Hey kids, today our friends from Western Union will be reading stories and singing with you.
Hi kids, I'm Auntie Bianca and I'm from Grace Kennedy Money Services, Western Union. Now, today we'll be reading a story titled Say Please Louise. It's a story of a little girl with monstrous manners. Louise was a very pretty girl. She could be very good, but sometimes she could be very bad. Her mother would get cross with her because she wouldn't say please or thank you. One day at breakfast, her mother asked Louise if she would like sugar or cereal. No, said Louise. I want some milk. What's the little word you should say? Asked her mother, looking at her sternly. No, said Louise. I want some milk now. Well, I'm sorry, said her mother, but you won't get any sugar or milk until you ask nicely. Just remember, please. Louise pulled an awful face and went out of the kitchen. Why should I say please and thank you? I will never do that, said Louise to herself. Then she started to run down the garden path, saying, I won't, I won't, I won't. Louise suddenly stopped in her tracks. There in front of her was a big purple monster. A monster lies right in front of Louise, blocking her track. Can you all see the monster? Louise stared at him angrily as he was blocking her way. The monster looked back at Louise. Get out of my way, you big, ugly monster, shouted Louise. The purple monster continued to just look at her. Then it smiled at her and said in a calm, quiet voice, What's the little word? Louise couldn't believe her ears. She crossed her arms and pulled a face. I will not say that little word, she said. I think I may be able to change your mind, said the monster. And that's Louise telling the monster that she will not be saying that little word as he blocked her path. The monster then picked Louise up and swung her upside down over its enormous open mouth. Stop it! Stop it! Yelled Louise. Put me down! The monster just laughed. What's the little word? He said again, lifting her even higher. Oh no! Shouted Louise. Please, please, put me down. That's a good girl, said the monster as he lowered her gently to the ground. Oh dear, said Louise, rubbing her head. What's happened to me? She turned to speak to the monster, but he had disappeared. Louise thought about the monster as she slowly walked back to the house. She opened the door and walked in. Mom, she said, please may I have some cereal? No? Her mother was so surprised. She nearly dropped the box of cereal she was holding. Oh, of course, dear, her mother replied. as she placed a bowl of cereal on the table for Louise. And there Louise was, asking politely for the box of cereal and milk. Louise smiled and looked out of the window to see if she could see the monster. To her surprise, there he was, smiling and waving at her. From that moment on, she decided she would try hard not to forget to say please and thank you ever again. Her mother never knew what had made her become such a polite girl so suddenly. But we know, don't we? So kids, what was the moral of this story? Well, the moral of the story is to always remember the magic word. Say please and thank you. Remember, we are still in the period of COVID-19, so always wear your mask and practice physical distancing. That's staying 6 feet apart. Hi kids, we want you to sing with Woo!
Are you ready to sing?
Yes, I am. Are you ready to sing?
Yes, I am. When I say reading, you say with Woo. Reading.
With Woo.
Reading.
With Woo.
When I say reading, you say with you. Reading.
With you.
Reading.
With you. Reading with Woo. It's a fun thing to do. So grab a book, take a seat. Reading is so sweet. Reading, come along. Woo! Help us sing this song. Reading is good for you. Reading with Woo! Woo!
Don't go anywhere because next Auntie Janice will read you an interesting story.
This is the place to be, singing and dancing unto beat. Come on, join the kids, say cool. Fun and games for me and you.
It is time to learn. This is how we grow.
Welcome back. Janice Riley from Western Union reads Little Lion at Bat by Kelly Magnus.
1, 2, 3, 4. Little lion tapped a beat on the floor. Come on, kids, tap with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Little lion tapped a beat on the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8. Come on, Papa, we can't be late. Little lion, you're up early. Papa yawned. What's the hurry? Come on, Papa, up and away. Today is a very important day. Little lion, I think it's cool. You can't wait to go to school? Yes, Papa, today is the day. There's a cricket match and I'm going to play. And here is Little Lion's Papa yawning in bed. He definitely doesn't want to get up yet. Ah, cricket, Papa cried. A great game that brings us pride. Cricket is about soul and spirit. Feel that when you're at the wicket. Play with your heart, not with your mind. Listen to that voice inside. Play with grace, play with control. Let the greats speak to your soul. Walcott, Weeks, and Worrell too. Keep them all right there with you. Sobers, Lloyds, Richards, Headley. Play with all that history. And here is Little Lion thinking about bats. So these are all the great batsmen that once played. It was the biggest day of the whole school year. Holy Mother was in high gear. Everyone had come to see the cricket match against Pear Tree. We have to win this match today, Little Lion said. Coach, please let me play. Coach Cuthbert clumped, howled. In your dreams, you're too little for the cricket team. Holy Mother went out to bowl, but the team soon lost control. Pear Tree hit every ball for a 6, and Holy Mother was in a fix. And here is Coach Cuthbert telling poor little lion no. Poor Coach Clump fell to the floor as Pear Tree Prep racked up the score. Then Holy Mother went to bat. There's no way we can beat that. Little Lion sat by in shame as his team went down in flames. One batsman fell and then another. Nothing went right for Holy Mother. Papa begged, "Come on, Coach Cluffy, put my boy in. I think he's ready. Please be serious, Mr. Zion. This game's too big for Little Lion." Coach had hopes for Gary Green, but Pear Tree Prep bowled him clean. Holy Mother was losing fast. Then Coach Clump gave in at last. And here is Little Lion's papa begging Coach to put his little boy in. One batsman left. We just can't win. Okay, Little Lion, you're going in. Pear Tree Prep laughed, ha ha ha, loud and long. What's he going to do? Sing us a song? Little Lion smiled. I won't say a thing. Just watch. I'll make this bat sing. Little Lion was in the zone, wielding his bat like a microphone, hitting square cuts, hooking, pulling, flicking, driving, flashing, swinging. 4s and 6s came on strong. Each ball soared like a note in a song. Coach Cuthbert Clump cried, I do declare, we will win the match this year. Holy Mother danced with glee as Little Lion led them to victory. We knew he could do it all along. Now all we need is a cricket song. Bassie Brown tapped out a beat. The whole school jumped to its feet. Little Lion waved his hat in the air, and everyone began to cheer. Here's everyone cheering for Little Lion as he brings them victory. It's not the size of the boy that turns the tide. It's the size of the heart that beats inside. It's not the speed of the ball or the height of the catch. It's the strength of the will that wins every match. Mark my name, I'm Zachariah Zion, little but Talawa, heart of a lion. Proud to be a young West Indian, living out a long tradition. And here's everyone celebrating for that big win for Holy Mother. Woo! Now let's stop while we count one more time. 1 run, 2 runs, 6 or 4. The spirit counts more than a score. The end. I want you to leave with the moral of the story. And it's 1. Be true to yourself and believe in yourself, kids. And parents, believe in your children. As they go for gold, support them in every way possible. And as COVID-19 continues to linger, we advise you, little ones, remember when you go out to play like Little Lion, remember to wash your hands and sanitize. And most importantly, remember to read.
Stay tuned for more fun from our friends from Western Union right after this break.
Where's my kids? We learn a lot. My kids. We play a lot. My kids.
Our family and friends are a big part of who we are. They are our biggest supporters and confidants, and our source of bellyfuls of laughter.
And when it comes to keeping you connected, Western Union is here to make it safer and easier with their digital services. Now your family and friends overseas can send you money without leaving home by using the Western Union app or westernunion.com. Just visit gkmsonline.com to register and share your banking details with your sender to start receiving funds directly to your bank account, so you don't have to leave home to collect. Grace Kennedy Money Services, home of Bill Express, FX Trader, and Western Union, doing our part to help you stay safe and connected to the ones you love.
We're learning, exploring, and this is fun, you'll see.
We're still with our friends from Western Union who will be reading and singing with Woo.
Hi kids, we want you to sing with Woo! Reading with Woo, it's a fun thing to do. So grab a book, take a seat, reading is so sweet. Reading, come along, woo! Help us sing this song.
Reading is good for you. Reading with Woo! Woo!
The one thing I love about reading is the fact that you can use your imagination, and your imagination takes you places. So you can use your imagination to visit Africa, Asia, or Australia while you're still here in Jamaica.
But Auntie Bianca, there are many storybooks that I used to enjoy that I still enjoy, but I'm going to give you one, and that's the story of Cinderella. That story teaches you to have faith, to believe in yourself despite what you're going through.
Today, kids will be reading a story titled Toad's Road Code, written by Leland Perry.
The toad wore a coat and a big smiley grin, and a little bow tie nestled under his chin.
This toad was a traveler, and he liked to roam all over the marshes surrounding his home. But one day he thought, I think I shall wander to visit my cousin who lives way out yonder.
So straightening his tie, he set off at a pace, with a hop, skip, and jump, and with an admirable grace. He launched himself into the first lane he saw, and met with a terrible ear-splitting roar.
Yikes! Went the toad leaping out of his skin as he covered his ears at the terrible din. Frightened, he flattened himself to the road. Goodness, what was that? Did something explode?
No, it was only the sound of a car which passed him close by and zoomed off to afar. And here's the toad lying in the road and the car that drove off to afar. So he gathered together his wits and his cake. He straightened his tie and proceeded to take a very deep breath, then a hop and a skip and a jump to the very next lane where he met a bump.
Up in the air went the cake and the toad. Splat went the cake as it squished on the road. Yikes! Went the toad, landing safe on the bank, startled and shaken. What was that? A tank?
No, not a tank, just a really big truck, which the toad was glad that he had managed to duck. The cake, though, had taken the brunt of the wallop and lay on the ground in a big, gooey dollop.
My cake! Wailed the toad as the truck flew on by. But he brushed himself down. Then he straightened his tie and, picking up all that remained of his cake, carried on to his cousin's small house by the lake.
How do you diddly do? Said the toad. I'm so glad to see you. And goodness, it showed. Come in, said his cousin. Sit down if you're able. We'll have us some nice gooey cake at the table. And this is the toad at his cousin's house. And this is the cake that his cousin gave him at the table.
Their chat came around to the road and how to cross it safely. The road safety code. Toad road code. Stop at the drop.
It's too dangerous to hop.
Look for things wheeled.
Better keep your eyes peeled.
Listen all around.
Can you hear any sound?
If there's nothing that you can see or you can hear, then hop right across. You have nothing to fear.
The toad thanked his cousin and ate some more cake, and finally looked at his watch. It was late. Well, thanks for the tip and the cake and the tea, but I'd better be going now, seriously.
The frog gave him a hug, then gave the toad his jacket and the last piece of cake in a brown paper packet. Remember the code, he said with a wave.
Soon, sure enough, the toad came to the place where cars and big trucks and more dangerous things raced. So he tried to remember his cousin's advice. Here goes, said the toad, and he reminded himself twice.
Stop, look, and listen. The toad's cousins had said. So mopping droplets of sweat from his head, he stopped at the curb, cupped his ear, and then watched. And when all was clear, he hopped safely across.
Hooray! Laughed the toad in delight and relief. And here's a toad after arriving home. Can you remember the code?
Stop at the drop.
It's too dangerous to hop.
Look for things wheeled.
Better keep your eyes peeled.
Listen all around.
Can you hear any sound?
If there's nothing that you can see or you can hear, then hop right across. You have nothing to fear.
The end.
I hope you are following the stories.
We're saying our ABCs and counting 1, 2, 3. We're learning, exploring, and this is fun. You